Hi, and welcome to Enchantment of Eternity's review for the second Game of Thrones Season 7 trailer. In this video, I give my thoughts on the trailer and what it may mean for the coming season. So first, I'll have to give a spoiler warning for Game of Thrones up to Season 6. If you haven't seen up to this point, you will not want to watch this video, otherwise some things may be spoiled for you. However, I will start this video being free from Season 7 spoilers from production leaks and plot leaks. So be free of those kinds of spoilers. However, at some point I will get into those kinds of spoilers, but I will give a proper spoiler warning before doing so. So for now, you are safe from those kinds of spoilers. So I love this trailer. It was awesome. It uses the Light of the Seven music that was used in the Season 6 finale, which was just a magnificent piece of music, so it was very wise to use it again here. But I do find it interesting that the music is typically associated with Cersei, and Cersei barely appears in this trailer, so that was an interesting choice. But if I'm being honest, I'd have to say I prefer the first trailer to this one because it had that feeling of intensity that got me really pumped. But that's not to say that this is a bad trailer at all. It's a great one that I'm really glad we got. So perhaps it might be because I read all those damn spoilers, but this trailer doesn't really give me any new information or tell me anything that I don't already know like the first trailer did. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying I don't have as much to talk about with it. It's funny, I just watched another video where the commenters were saying, my god, this trailer gives so much away. And it's funny hearing that perspective, but I guess that makes sense for those who haven't read all those damned spoilers that I now wish that I hadn't read. So the reason I didn't call this video a breakdown video is because I'm not going to go through every single shot in the trailer and explain every little thing and be like, oh, that's Jaime Lannister at King's Landing, and here you see dragons flying around Dragonstone. You know, it sounds kind of like someone showing a 70s photo slideshow on a projector going, oh, that's me in the fishing boat. Oh, and that's me on the beach. So I won't be doing that because you can figure out where these people are and who they are without me telling you. And frankly, most of these shots, the only thing I really actually have to say about them is that they look cool. So it would get kind of repetitive just me saying, oh, that looks awesome, oh, and that looks awesome, oh, and that looks really awesome. But really, a lot of these shots do look fucking awesome. Like this shot of Jaime riding through a scorched battlefield, or this shot of Tormund and a few others on the hill surrounded by whites, and of course the other angle of Drogon and the Dothraki charging into battle. These shots just make me want to squeal like a little girl, but I don't really have anything new to say about them other than they look fucking awesome. So instead, I'm just going to pick out the few things I do have something to say about and focus on them. So let me start with the bookends of the trailer, as it starts with a shot of Sansa and a voiceover from Littlefinger talking about fighting every battle in your mind. And then it ends with a voiceover from Sansa talking about how when the snow blows, the lone wolf dies, but the pack survives. So I do think these voiceovers are related, as I think the Littlefinger one is him talking to Sansa, and I think the ending one is Sansa talking to Littlefinger. In Littlefinger's statements, I think he is giving Sansa advice on how to succeed, because Littlefinger does want Sansa to rule the North, so I believe he will be coaching her well, let's just say he's quite fond of her. But I do believe Sansa's statements about the lone wolf refer to Littlefinger and how he's just in it for himself, whereas Sansa is rejecting that mentality and is electing to stand by her family, to stand by Jon, Bran, and Arya. At least that's just my wild guess. So next we see the same shot of the gate at the wall opening that we saw in the first trailer, except this time we see the shot after on the other side, which is clearly Bran and Meera waiting to cross through the wall, which is what I thought it was in the first trailer, but others had assumed it was the gate at Eastwatch, but I was sure it was for Bran, and it turns out that this is the case. It's also interesting that we get some Bran in this trailer, which I'll talk more about in my spoiler section, because we didn't get any Bran Bran in the previous trailer. But the one thing I will say here is that we got a shot of a bunch of ravens flying, and I didn't notice this at first, but clearly you see one's eyes go white. So Bran will be walking into that raven. At least that's what it looks like to me. I could be wrong, but that sounds so cool. So even though it appears Bran is traveling south of the wall, his warging abilities could still take him north of it. Another group of characters who pop up whom we didn't see in the last trailer are the White Walkers, who were alluded to as being very important as the real threat, but we didn't actually see, and we do get to see them here. Not that much to say about them, but it is good to see them. We get a shot of the Night King looking menacing as ever. In fact, this shot comes right after the shot with the ravens, which kind of implies Bran will be spying on them, but that could be misleading, as trailers often are. And then we see a White Walker fighting someone. I can't tell who that is, but it's clear we'll get some White Walker fights. And of course, we also get a lot of shots with the whites, as I alluded to earlier. So this trailer makes it clear another White Walker battle is coming soon. And we get the shot of Daenerys pulling down Stannis' banner, making it clear she's just arrived at Dragonstone and is taking over. So it does appear that in the continuity of the show, Dragonstone has been abandoned ever since Stannis left, and Daenerys is just swooping in and claiming it. So that looked cool too. And then there's also this cool shot of people riding horses through the fire. At first I wasn't sure where this was from. I thought maybe this also had to do with the Battle of the White Walkers, but closer examination you can clearly see the horse riders carrying that curved sword of the Dothraki. So they are clearly Dothraki riding through Dragonfire, probably from the same battle the other shots are from. So nothing more to say, but awesome shot. So I'm afraid that's as far as I go without spoilers. So now I'll have to give a spoiler warning for detailed production and plot leaks for Season 7. If you don't want to know anything about what's been confirmed about Season 7, I suggest you turn this video off now. And thank you so much for watching. However, for those of you who have read the spoilers or don't mind being spoiled, then let's go ahead and get into the rest of my observations for the trailer. I can kind of see how this trailer may seem to give away a bunch of revelations for those who don't know about the spoilers, as it gives away that the Hound and Beric Dondarrion will be in the next season and that they're clearly in the north, and also gives away that Bran is at Winterfell, and a hint at the alliance Euron would make with Cersei by showing a bunch of Ironborn ships approaching the Red Keep. But of course, none of this is news to those of us who've read the spoilers. So the first thing I want to talk about is this shot of Bran, because as I said, you can clearly tell that he's at Winterfell, as it's the same heart tree we saw earlier in the trailer with Sansa, and plus Bran is sitting on this fancy chair, which had to be constructed for him at Winterfell. What I find interesting is who is it standing next to him, as we can barely make him out in this image. My first instinct was to think that this is the Three-Eyed Raven, and that Bran is somehow using the heart tree to communicate with him beyond the grave, kind of like an Obi-Wan ghost. Not that I think the Three-Eyed Raven is communicating with Bran from the afterlife, but more as he may have left an imprint of himself in the heart trees, or perhaps this is the Three-Eyed Raven from the past, and because he has abilities to see into the future, he can see beyond his death, so is able to communicate with Bran like he's actually there. Or a simpler explanation is that it's just that Maester guy we saw working with the Boltons last season, who we know will continue on as the Maester of Winterfell for the Starks. So it could just be him with Bran, but I think being the Three-Eyed Raven is a much cooler theory, so I'm sticking with that. So what I think is interesting is that some other commenters got the impression from this trailer that Jon will be in the north for the entirety of Season 7. And I do see how this trailer could give them that impression, but of course those of us who have read the spoilers know he will spend a big chunk of this season in the south with Daenerys. So the voiceover we get with Jon talking about how our families have fought together against a common enemy for centuries, I think is pretty apparent that he's speaking to Daenerys here. I mean, maybe I'm wrong and he's talking to Alice Karstark or someone like that, but that The importance in his voice and the warning of the White Walkers makes me think it has to be Daenerys, and this is when he is trying to form an alliance with her. But I don't know. We'll see. So this shot here of someone collapsing on the beach at Dragonstone, I can't make it out, but that looks to me to be Theon, and this is probably after Euron destroys his fleet and he escapes with his life and returns to Dragonstone. Speaking of that battle, we do get several more shots of that, which is clearly Euron attacking Yara's fleet, such as the shot of Yara looking scared. So it seems like this will actually be an intense battle sequence and won't be sort of glossed over like I suspected it might have been. We also get a shot of the Tarly men shooting arrows. I think these are clearly Tarly men, and they will soon be killed by Dragonfire, no doubt. Then there's this shot here of some guy pulling his sword. The sun is shining right in his fucking face, so I can't tell who it is. So not a very good shot, I'd have to say. I'm sure a billion people will tell me in the comments section who it is, but to my eyes it looks like the Hound, but I could be wrong, I don't know. But more importantly, this appears to be at the Dragon Pits location, so could be taken from that scene in the finale where like 17 major characters meet at the Dragon Pits, but I could be wrong about that too. So finally, let me end on the shot here of the Unsullied, because I looked at this several times and it appears to me that the Unsullied are opening the gates so that other Unsullied can charge in. So this, I think, goes right along with my theory that some of the Unsullied will sneak into Castle Rock using knowledge that Tyrion gave them of the sewage system that he used to be in charge of, and those Unsullied will then open the gates for the rest of the Unsullied to charge in and take over the castle. At least that seems to make a lot of sense to me, but I could be wrong. So that's all I have to say about this trailer. We're less than a month away from the premiere, and I'm as excited can be. I doubt we'll get another trailer at this point, but you never know. But I'm personally happy with just getting these two trailers, as I think they're both good, and I simply cannot wait to see Season 7. So that's it for my Game of Thrones Season 7 trailer number 2 review. Be sure to check out my channel for more Game of Thrones content, as I will be doing a Game of Thrones season rewatch video for the 3 latest seasons of Game of Thrones. Season 4, Season 5, and Season 6. And I will give my observations on these 3 seasons with Season 7 in mind, and I will release one of these videos a week up until the big premiere of Season 7, which I will cover extensively once that comes out. So be sure to keep an eye out for that. Also be sure to check out my channel for many other videos on other shows like Star Trek, Dark Matter, Orphan Black, and more. So be sure to subscribe so you can keep up with all of that. And thanks a lot for watching.